Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. So I've been talking about, getting the money, getting the deal, and executing on that business plan. And look, finding that deal is pretty tough right now, and it's been tough for the last several years. I don't see that probably getting any easier anytime soon. So you've got to figure out ways around it, right? You've got to get creative and you've got to build those relationships. Look, it's great to have all the money, right? Maybe you know a lot of investors. Maybe you have the money yourself. But you've got that money sitting there. Your investors they're not going to be super patient with you. They're not going to just hold their money for the next couple of years to wait for you. Maybe they'll have money ready when you have a deal. Maybe they won't. And there's been plenty of times, by the way, where I've talked to an investor. They're like, yeah, I would love to invest with you. I have some money set aside, love to invest. And then you find a deal, but it's 6-8 months later and you go, hey, got a deal. Oh, yeah, look, I recently invested money in a different deal and I can't invest right now, but count me in on your next deal, right? And so that happens. So we got to find deals, and we have to continue to look for deals, and that's difficult. That's challenging. And the other thing I see people get is they get really antsy, right? And they go and they create a deal, right? We don't want to create a deal that's not really a deal, that just we made look good because we're so anxious to get a deal that we create one. So we want to build purposeful relationships with the right people, right? With brokers, with other investors. My last couple of deals have came because I've built relationships with other people and found partnerships that work really well, and we're able to partner with them. That's a great way to find deals, not necessarily just through the brokers. The brokers are really important. You can find your deals through them yourself, but also building relationships with other investors that would be good partnerships, would make a lot of sense, that you can add your value and they add value to you. All right, so that's super important. And building relationships with appraisers and property managers. Look, a lot of deals come from property managers directly. Guess who knows who's going to sell a property? A lot of times the property management company knows that a company is ready to sell a property. And so if you're constantly building relationships with the property management companies, they're wanting to sell a property to somebody that they've got a relationship with, because guess what? They get to keep then the property management. That's what they're looking for. If it goes to somebody else, they might not get that property management. So they want to have that property to sell to somebody they know, that they think they're going to get that business. Having it with building relationships with appraisers. Appraisers know what's going on. Building relationships with owners themselves, doing some cold calling, building those relationships, that can be very valuable as well. Now, those deals are hard to come by still, but you can get those deals. As this market potentially shakes out and deals become more plentiful, building relationships, having those relationships with owners and property managers and brokers, those become all the more valuable. They're super valuable right now, but they're going to become all the more valuable. Look, brokers want to sell to people that they trust. Brokers want to sell to people that they know can get the deal done. I just had a conversation with the broker the other day. I came in, my offer was quite a bit lower than the competition. And we had a conversation. He's like, look, you guys are the most qualified people that have put an offer on this asset. And so we'd love to sell it to you, but you got to come up on price. Unfortunately on that, we couldn't. We were basically at our price, but if we could, I think we would have gotten a deal. And I don't think we would have needed to be the top price, because we've built a relationship, we've built a reputation in that market that says we are closers. Like, we do what we say we're going to do. We don't retrade. That's really important. Build a good reputation. It's not about just being the annoying guy that's always, or gal that's always asking for a deal. It's about building a relationship. It's about building a reputation. And that's for everybody you deal with. So again, find those deals. Super important, super valuable. Figure out ways to get creative so you got more deal flow. And the other thing is, look, don't be afraid to write 100 LOIs, 200 LOIs. I was talking to a broker recently, and that's one thing that he said. The people that are on their list, the people that are top of their mind, are the people that are putting in LOIs because they know they want to get deals. He said it doesn't really matter where their LOIs come in, as long as they're putting those LOIs in. So don't be afraid to put an LOI in on a building that they're selling, that maybe the whisper price on the building is $7 million and you're coming in at $6 million. That's okay. Put that LOI in there. You're going to build that relationship with the broker. You're going to get on their reminder list. Okay? It's super important to get those LOIs in and not just ignore that. So look, you're going to have to look at and write LOIs on maybe 50, maybe 100, maybe even 200 deals before you get one. But you've got to continue to be persistent and consistent, and eventually you're going to get those deals. So money, really important. Can't buy a deal if we don't have money, but if we got all the money and we don't have any deals, well, we're still not a real estate investor. So got to have it all. Got to have both of them.